Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Ainun Aini Putri Dewanti with student number 122-111-233-171. I'm from Factual and Discursive Reading Class E. In this video, I will do a presentation about my second book report. The title of the book that I have read is Crazy Rich Asian. On the left, this is the cover of the book. The author is Kevin Kwan, release date on June 11, 2013, publisher by Doubleday. This book has 408 pages. Genre of the book is romantic comedy. This book was also made into a film. This is the cover of the film. This Crazy Rich Asian story had become a best-selling novel in the world, and Warner Bros. Pictures took the initiative to share the story through a film that was released on August 15, 2018 in the United States. Of course, this film is made the same as the novel written by Kevin Kwan. This film has a duration of about 120 minutes. The film is directed by John M. Chu and produced by Nina Jacobson, Brad Simpson, and John Penotti. The film stars Constance Wu, Henry Golding, Gemma Chan, Lisa Lu, Nico Santos, Awkwafina, Ken Jeong, and Michael Yeoh. Now we move to the topic of presentation. Number 1, synopsis of the book. Number 2, summary of the book. Number 3, opinion about this book. Number 4, why I like this book. Number 5, why I choose this book. Number 6, strengths of the book. Number 7, weaknesses of the book. And the last, many things that can learn. Synopsis of the book. Crazy Rich Asian is the outrageously funny debut novel about three super-rich, pedigreed Chinese family and the gossip, backbiting, and scamming that occurs when the heir to one of the famous massive fortune in Asia brings home his ABC or American-born Chinese girlfriend to the wedding of the season. When Rachel Chu agreed to spend the summer in Singapore with her boyfriend Nicholas Young, she envisioned a humble family home, long drives to explore the island, and quality time with the man she might one day marry. What she doesn't know is that Nick's family home happened to look like a palace, that she'll ride in more private planes than cars, and that with one of Asia's most eligible bachelor on her arm. Rachel might as well have a target on her back. Initiated into a world of dynastic splendor beyond imagination, Rachel meets Astrid, the girl of Singapore society, Eddie, whose family practically live in the page of the Hong Kong socialite magazine, and Eleanor, Nick's formidable mother, a woman who has very story feeling about who her son should and should not marry. Uproarious, addictive, and filled with jaw-dropping opulence, Crazy Rich Asian is an insider look at the Asian jet set, a perfect depiction of the clash between old money and new money, between overseas Chinese and mainland Chinese, and a fabulous novel about what it means to be young, in love, and gloriously, crazily rich. Summary of the book. Rachel Chu is a lecturer in economics at the University of New York, or UNY. She was orphaned since childhood, raised alone by her mother. Rachel is a smart and very independent woman. Rachel was born in China but grew up in America. Nicholas Young, Rachel's boyfriend, is also a lecturer at UNY, both of whom are matched by Rachel's friend. All Rachel knew that Nick was a nice, friendly, and simple guy. One day, Nick invited Rachel to spend their summer vacation in Nick's hometown, Singapore. They will come to the wedding of Nick's best friend, Colin. In addition, Nick wants to introduce Rachel to his extended family. Nick also wants to show Rachel Nick's favorite place in Singapore. After arriving in Singapore, Rachel finds out that Nick's life in Singapore is very different. Nick comes from a respectable and wealthy family. When he introduced Rachel to his family, the response he got was not quite pleasant. Rachel herself feels very depressed and burdened. Her job as an economic lecturer at a leading university does not necessarily make her immediately treat well. The climax is when Eleanor revealed information about Rachel's past, which Rachel herself never knew about, namely about Rachel's biological father, whom she had never met in her life. There is a secret that is revealed that makes Rachel angry at her mother. But then there is another fact that is more shocking. Rachel also gets bad treatment from girls who like Nick. In addition, this novel also highlights Astrid's heart-wrenching love story. Her marriage is in danger of being destroyed because she finds evidence that leads to the conclusion that her husband is cheating on her. Then there is Eddie, Nick and Astrid's cousin who loves to show off his wealth. He has a beautiful wife, 3 healthy and cute children, but he still has a mistress. My opinion about this book. The first time I read it, honestly, I was a bit confused by the writing style and the plot of the story, which jumps from one character to another. Not only that, I was surprised by the extraordinary number of family genealogies, and not a few of those genealogies are told in this novel. Almost all of the characters have an important role here. You can imagine how solid this novel is. However, I start to enjoy the storyline in this novel, which was unexpected and related to the life of people living in Southeast Asia. Kevin Kwan packs a storyline that looks complicated at the beginning to be easy to read and fun to follow until the end. In addition, this novel also discusses Chinese culture. Through this novel, I have come to understand about the twist and turn of Chinese culture and its setting in Singapore. So overall, this book is worth reading by those who seek entertainment but still gain insight about cross-culture. Why I like this book? I like this book because of the interesting storyline. Although, maybe it sounds cliché. A love story between a rich man and an ordinary girl and not approved by his mother. Even so, Crazy Rich Asian over conflict and twists that are completely unexpected before, be it conflict against self or family. Apart from that, I also found many interesting points of view and various aspects, especially about wealth and happiness. This novel is like opening a new door that allows us to know many things about the life of a rich family that seem to be filled with many luxuries from the outside, but in fact, there are many conflicts and problems behind it. Why I choose this book? Crazy Rich Asian, written by Kevin Kwan, caught my attention when the film was booming among my friends. Since I'm the type who prefer to read the book first instead of watching the movie, I'm interested in reading this novel. At first, I was interested because I wanted to watch the film, but after reading the synopsis of the novel, my curiosity about the storyline of this novel increased. A story of an ordinary woman who likes a man who is crazy rich, coupled with Chinese culture and the complicated tradition brought by his mother. Apart from that, this novel is also set in Southeast Asia, especially China and Singapore, which makes it even more interesting for me to read it because I'm also a Southeast Asian person. Strengths of the book. By reading this novel, there are many interesting things that we will find, starting from Nick's grandmother's house on Chersal Avenue, which is like a palace that doesn't appear on Google Earth. The tradition of watching the Wijaya Kusuma flower bloom, which is considered to bring good luck. The best fake shopping location, bachelorette parties on private jets, the figure of Dr. Gu, who has his own story in the past with Nick's grandfather is still alive, and the behavior of the relative in viewing wealth and power, and also Chinese culture that people rarely know in detail. Therefore, I dare to say that the strength of this book is the culture that is broke through the conflict or even through the simple jokes that the characters tell. Weaknesses of the book. The weakness of this novel is the language, which is sometimes quite complicated to understand. In addition, the author also sometimes uses Chinese, even though there are footnotes, but still readers must look the footnotes to be able to understand what one word. Coupled with the existence of Nick's family tree, which show how big and complicated Nick's family is. Even the author tells all this character is one book. You can imagine how many characters the reader must know to understand the storyline. There are so many points of view, the point is to use a third-person all-knowing point of view. But there are a lot of characters that are highlighted. Even though Kwon seems to have tried his best to make it easy for readers to understand who the characters he mentioned are. In my opinion, the introduction for all the characters in one book is a little bit too much. Many things that can learn from the book. This book has many messages for its readers, but one of the embodied message that I feel the most is that the author is trying to convey that being rich isn't everything. Being rich also doesn't mean that life will always be okay and happy. This is shown by Astrid's character who has everything. However, Astrid's wealth makes her not confident with her husband's economic status. Because of this, Astrid found betrayal from her husband because of the wealth she had. In addition, from Nick's point of view, Nick's mother, who is a rich woman, does not approve his relationship with Rachel. Nick feels depressed because his mother disapproves of the relationship. From this point, it can also be seen that Nick is a wealth bachelor who is coveted by a woman. But he is not happy because his mother does not approve of his relationship with the woman he loves so much. About the author. Kevin Kwon is the author of Crazy Rich Asian, a worldwide bestseller that has been translated into over 30 languages. He was born in Singapore and moved to the US at the age of 12. He is the son of a wealthy family in Singapore. In the US, he studied art and then worked as a creative consultant. His rich family life is what inspired Kevin Kwon to write stories. From Crazy Rich Asian, China Rich Girlfriend, the sequel, and Rich People Problems, the third and final book in the trilogy, was published in 2017. The Crazy Rich Asian trilogy dominated the top 3 spots on the New York Times bestseller list for several weeks in 2018, and the Crazy Rich Asian film adaptation became Hollywood's highest grossing romantic comedy in almost a decade. Kevin was named one of Time magazine 100 most influential people in the world in 2018. I think that's all my presentation about the second book report. Thank you for your attention. See you next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.